Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and you all might notice that I have somewhat of a different setup, or the camera might look a little different. First of all, I had to take a little hiatus, which was not a planned one, but it was one that was a necessary hiatus. I'll tell you why when I discuss a dream that I had with you all and how this might be playing out with your current circumstances. Okay, so. First of all, I had to get another tablet because my 2-year-old decided to have a temper tantrum and smacked the tablet out of her sibling's hand. And so it completely shattered. And so I had to order another one that took a matter of a few days. And actually, I was able to refocus on some other things that I've been meaning to make time for, but I had not done it. So that was my spiritual team coming in to say, I need you to redirect your focus. So I'm going to slow you down from doing this so I can direct your focus in doing this over here. I've been blessed with multiple gifts, y'all. So what I want to say is, I want to tell you about my dream first. Because I feel like this might be in alignment with where you all might be right now if you have any questions in regards to, well, what's happening around me. So I had a dream where I was driving in my car and I got to a red light and I had a hard time stopping the car. So automatically what I thought was, okay, something is going on with the brakes. Come to find out, I had no gas in the car. So I had to pull over. I went over to this gas station and I went in to go make my payment for my gas. And I ended up in a whole different environment. It's like everything shifted. And I was sitting down and I was talking to this woman, and we was talking about eating healthy. And what she said was, she was like, when the human body, when you stop eating meats, we were specifically talking about meats. She said, when you stop eating meats, the body produces a serum that is very healing to the skin. It comes through the pores of the skin and is very healing to the skin. And right in that moment, I had an epiphany. And I was like, oh, wow, I told her, I said it out loud. I was like, I'm getting ready to go and create something that will replicate the serum that the body produces in order to heal the skin. So I was really excited. It was like I had come into this, it was this aha moment of what my purpose was. And so I ended up leaving out and I came across some guy who I did not trust. And he offered me some weed, okay? Now, I used to smoke weed. It's been a minute since I've actually had herb. It's been over a year. So I have no desire or, it doesn't, move me anymore. And so he offered me this herb. It was a joint, okay, that he had already pre-rolled, okay? But again, I didn't trust him. But for some reason, I was tempted. So I took the herb and I went back outside and I was standing on the curb and I had this herb in my hand. And the funny part is that there's a guy, I don't want to mention his name, but he's like a guru. He's from India, and he's an older man, and he speaks on spirituality a lot, okay? Some of you all may know who he is, but I don't want to say his name. It starts with an S, okay? He was sitting in his office, and I remember I felt him looking at me while I was standing there holding this joint. And I looked over, and as soon as I looked over, he turned his head and he was doing something in his office on his computer. So I was like, okay, he's staring at me. So I started to smoke the joint, but I was like, you know what? I don't trust this guy. Let me open up this joint and see what's in here, because I'm just feeling too much of a resistance to smoking this herb right now. So I opened up the joint, and what was inside was a lot of slimy stuff. Okay, amongst the weed, it was some slime looking stuff. And I didn't know what the hell it was, but I was like, okay, I'm glad I went with my instincts. And so I threw that out and I woke up. Now, in the 3D, y'all, in real life, I'm going to tell y'all, we're going to get to the point in a minute, okay? About 3 years ago, when life was just really crazy, one of my daughters was dealing with health issues. I was just now coming into my awakening. I was 33 years old when I first started coming into my spiritual path, or at least being aware of where I was headed down my spiritual path. And I was blessed with this gift of creating oils, okay? And I was given all of the ingredients. It's like it just came to me. I started looking into different herbs, and I was mixing up herbs. I have one for the hair. I have one for the skin. I was making paste for the teeth, face mask. I mean, all types of stuff. I got my business cards. I started my business, my corporation, and I was just excited. Okay. I began promoting my business, but then I got led down a different path to what I'm doing today. But I got all of these oils here. I got all of these herbs here. And you all are always complimenting me on my skin, saying, what do you use? What are you doing over there? Well, first of all, the dream, is something that I had that dream about creating a serum, because I've been doing these types of things. Okay. This is, oils that I've been using on myself for quite some time. And not only is it moisturizing to the skin, for me, herbs, because they come from the earth, they actually allow you to have spiritual uploads, because your skin is very porous and it's very absorbent. That's why you have to be very careful with what you put on your body, because it's going into your bloodstream. And so these herbs are actually very healing, and they're awakening. Okay. When I was making these recipes, I set my intention that whoever put my oils on their head, they would be blessed and their hair would grow. I had a lady, someone who was a friend of mine, her mother was losing her hair. She had been losing it for years. And she would just wear like the glue at the top of her hair, and she would keep the other hair, out. So she was wearing like these extra pieces. I don't know what you would call them, but she would glue that on the area where she was balding. And I told my friend at the time, we're not friends anymore. I was like, because the friend of mine, she had eczema for many years. And so I was like, why don't you just try my oils? She tried them. She didn't have an outbreak again. She did not have an outbreak again. I checked back in with her a year later when we were still communicating. She said, I haven't had an outbreak since. And hers would come in the summertime. So she was able to go throughout a full season. No outbreaks of eczema. And this was years now that she was dealing with this problem. I have a child who's also dealt with eczema, who's used it and had been able to get rid of his eczema, as well as one of my youngest daughters. And so I know that the Most High has blessed me with this. So her mother, like I said, the ex-friend's mother, she was losing her hair. And I said, why don't you just let her try my hair growth oils? Now, mind you all, I just had faith in the product. I didn't really have any testimonies to say, well, this is going to work. She used my oil. It took her about a few months, about 3 or 4 months, and she ended up contacting me, and she was extremely excited. She said, my hair has been growing back in. So she started sending me these pictures, y'all, and I was getting very excited, like, oh my goodness, I really tapped into something here. And she was congratulating me, saying, if you need me, if you want me to do videos, I'm here. I'll be your model. She was a retired school teacher. And so I was excited about that. But she ended up about a year ago, when I was still kind of focused in on doing my oils, probably a year and a half ago, I reached out to her and I says, I'm ready for you to, if you want to do some videos for me, like some, what do you call it? Oh gosh. Like a testimonial, so I could put it on my website, because I was thinking about making a web page and everything. And she told me, she was very short with me, and she was like, I've just been very busy. And I never heard from her again since. So I didn't understand why she suddenly backed out of supporting me when she benefited so much from using my oils. But it didn't necessarily discourage me. But I did get kind of sidetracked in terms of heading down my spiritual path and doing the works that I do right now. This is definitely my calling, what I do now, okay, in terms of doing personal readings for you all and bringing these messages forward. I'm always a vessel, but I've also been given this gift, okay? And so many of you ask me, well, what do you use on your skin? I use my own products on my skin, y'all. So I haven't, made it in bulk where I have a whole lot here. But if I find that many of you begin to email me and you say, well, I want to place an order for your oils, then yes, maybe my dream was telling me that I need to slow down so that I can redirect my focus back to the original gift that was given to me. Not saying that I'm not going to continue to do what I'm doing, but we have, we're multifaceted beings, okay? Especially amongst the chosen, the Most High will bless you with many different avenues that you can take. So I feel like for you all, in terms of that dream, if you find that you have multiple things that are happening in your life, like my car started slowing down and I ran out of gas out of nowhere, but it put me right where I needed to be to get the revelation. But first I had to slow down. You might be getting certain stumbling blocks in your life, or certain events are happening in your life to redirect your focus or to get you to focus so that you can start visualizing and creating and hearing the messages of what is trying to be imparted within you in terms of what you are here to do, what your gifts are, and then consider too, a lot of times, let's consider when you have a natural gift, this is something that has to be born within you. So it can be born through like a thought. It can be born through a vision. It can be born through, you just doing something and you just have that aha moment where it's like, oh my goodness, this is an idea, and you feel excited about it. First of all, be very quiet. Don't tell nobody, and start focusing in on creating the vision. First, imagining it in your own mind, and then doing the work necessary brick by brick to build it up. But a lot of times people are not able to come into the understanding of what their gift is because they're in the hustle and bustle of staying in survival mode. And in that energy, the only thing you're thinking about is maintaining your routine, because the moment you get thrown off track, everything else gets thrown off track in terms of getting to that 9 to 5, paying certain bills, getting to certain, taking your kids to school, whatever your daily routine is. You don't have enough time to actually visualize and to hear. And consider, if just like being pregnant with your gift, whether you male or female, it's the same energy of like a pregnant woman, right? You, first of all, you can't be running around rampant in order to conceive. You got to get still, and you got to get passionate about something, if you know what I mean, okay? That's how you're going to conceive. Then once the baby is actually conceived, it's going to start growing. So what do you have to do? You got to slow down. You can't be out here running around like you used to. You got to slow down and nurture the seed that is growing inside of you. And so I feel like life might be shifting things for you all at this time. For those of you who feel like there's a lot of changes that's happening, you got these great ideas that's coming in. Some of you have multiple ideas and you don't know which direction to go into. But I feel like you're being called to not shut down, not say, well, okay, I can only pick one. No, if you have multiple ideas that are great, that's fine. But find the time to nurture each one in divine timing. So you might find that one of those gifts is the one that you need to focus in on right now, and the other one, it's on hold until this gift is out the way. That's like having multiple children. The next one is coming along. Child 2 is going to have to wait till child 1 gets here. And after child 2, then child 3 is going, that's just how it works. You can't just pop babies all at one time unless you got some quadruplets or something like that. But you're being called to nurture each gift at a time. You have time. Time is not running out unless you are stagnating your progress in terms of creating your gift, because you're so focused on survival mode and thinking that if you pursue this, it's not going to bring in the abundance that you need in order to have a comfortable lifestyle. But ask yourself this: in your current position, is life comfortable? Have you been able to create a comfortable lifestyle in that position that you hate? Have you been able to create a comfortable lifestyle in that position that has you stressed out every day? Have you been able to save money? Have you been able to hold on to money? Even if you have a very good hourly wage. I keep telling y'all, many of you know that I was working as a registered nurse for 5 years. I've been in healthcare for a long time, and I made a good hourly rate, but I couldn't save anything. And I feel like it was largely because my mind was still in lack mentality, and because I was doing something that was not in alignment with my purpose. So it's like once you get in alignment with your purpose, everything is infinitely abundantly available to you. Does it happen overnight? No. It takes time for you to nurture that gift, and you got to plant the right seeds. You got to plant seeds in good soil. So when you first begin moving towards your calling, consider that there's a certain amount that you have to give freely of yourself before you can actually receive. So if you walk into it focused in on what you're going to get back in terms of monetarily, then you're not walking in with the right mindset. Walk into that thing. Step into your purpose from a space of love and passion. This is just, you're doing it because you're passionate about it. You're doing it because you just know that it's going to help somebody else. You're doing it because, it's coming from your heart, and, you're able to really be the most authentic version of yourself. And you get up every morning excited about doing what you do. That's the type of, when I say planting a seed towards it, that's the type of seeds you got to plant. Or in terms of nurturing those seeds, that's the type of energy that you have to project in order to receive an abundant return. I'm not talking about going out here just giving your products away to the world. Not saying that that wouldn't be a good idea for some, maybe for a certain period of time. In order to get the word of mouth out there, you might have to give like sample products, or, that's just like me on this platform. I had to give because I have a whole nother channel. Go check it out. Shavi Zane, the spiritual counselor. I got an additional 100, almost 100 videos that I had to create on that channel before my gift was built up enough for me to create this channel, where the Most High said, okay, now I'm going to bring in those people who need to hear your message, because now you have done the works to create this gift. I'm not saying I've perfected the gift, but I'm comfortable in my gift. You see what I'm saying? And so I had to plant seeds though first, and I couldn't I couldn't do it based on, okay, well, man, I done made 50 videos by now on my other channel. I've made 50 videos and I still only have 2 views. What's really going on? That's what I was thinking in my own mind back then, but it was not something that was at the forefront of my mind, because I knew that somebody was watching, somebody was listening, and whoever listened to my videos was gaining something in that moment, whether it was 1 or 2 people. Sometimes I had to watch my own videos because there was a message in there for me when nobody else watched it. And it was actually, it helped me to continue forward. So like I was saying in the dream, I had to get slowed down, rerouted. And in that moment, I could have had the attitude of, oh my goodness, I could have been losing it, and I could have been overly focused in on what was happening in that moment and the fact that I had gotten taken off course. Or what I ended up doing instead was embracing the moment, finding the time to get the lesson from it, and I was able to gain direction on the path that I should be taking in that dream. So it just reignited a fire in me to get back to, promoting my oils to you all, because you all always ask me, well, what are you using on your skin? Well, that's what I'm using, y'all. Okay. Because we need to remove ourselves away from products that are chemically, has all of these unnatural things in it, because we're in the age of Aquarius. In the time of awakening, you're doing everything possible to get back to your nature. And so that means what you take in, that means what you put on your skin, that means what you visually allow yourself to take in, through your visual eyes, what you allow yourself to take in through your spiritual eyes, what you allow yourself to listen to, the type of people that you allow in your space. If it removes you from your nature and you find yourself becoming more and more inauthentic to yourself, then that's not the direction. That's not the energy of someone who is awakened. But when it takes you back to your roots, back to who the Most High created you to be, when you're able to take that wig off and rock your natural hair and say, I'm beautiful and I'm proud to be, and you start, the Most High blessed us with all these different herbs out here to be healing to the body. And as we continue to break these generational curses for many of the Black women who have lost their hair, because that was a part of the generational curse in Deuteronomy that the enemy used against us. Okay, I know this might be going off topic for some of you all, but this is just me. We get back into awakening on first breaking those curses, taking our power back, and then healing ourselves through natural herbs, oils, taking in the right food, things that have life in them, that have electricity in them, that will, where your body will thank you for it, getting the circulation and the oxygen back into that blood and getting things moving around again. Because a lot of times it's a circulatory thing that stops, the blood from flowing to the scalp, in order for that hair to grow. And so if your blood is sluggish, because you got so many toxins in it and so much inflammation and mucus build up and things of that nature, then imagine you're gonna have a hard time with hair growth as well. So for those of you who have a gift, some of you have been given the idea, you know that it's something that could be very fruitful, but the only thing that's stopping you is taking action and turning away from the past and knowing that when you take that jump, the Most High God has your back, your spiritual team has your back, and everything that you need is going to be abundantly available to you when you need it. That's the type of attitude that you have to have. When I took my jump, you better believe I had to have that type of attitude, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. In terms of my faith, okay? In terms of my growth, in terms of my focus, and knowing that I don't have to go back. I don't have to look back, okay? And I'm not going to, because me working as a nurse was in direct opposition to everything that I believe in. Not saying there's nothing wrong with people who choose to take that path, but for me, that's not my calling. It takes me away from my nature. And so now I've been able to get back into my nature, being introduced to myself for the very first time, probably in lifetimes, okay? And so I'm encouraging you all. It's time for you to use those tools that you've been blessed with to be the co-creator of your life. You already have everything that you need within you. You have a natural gift that is it only has your blueprint on it. Nobody else can do what you do. You might find that some people have things that are similar, but it's different, because the energy that you put on it is uniquely your blueprint. It is uniquely your stamp that has your signature on it, your energetic signature, your spiritual signature, all of those things. Even if somebody has something with the same exact products as you, or something that looked the same exact way as something that you create, it does not have your energetic or your spiritual blueprint. And so it's still different. And so you don't worry about that part. You just do what's necessary to make your contribution to humanity, which is you operating in your most authentic self and not allowing yourself to stay in the hamster wheel or the karmic cycle of survival mode, making other people rich while you suffer and struggle every single day, getting up to do something that you just completely hate. So when you hate doing what you do every day, it keeps you in a low vibrational state. Because every morning that you wake up, you can't even wake up and be in a space of gratitude and giving thanks, because you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to go in. And then some of you, I remember them days having to get all my children up, getting them ready, combing hair. I got to look for this. I got to do that, getting them off to daycare on time so that I can get to work on time. Because if I'm 3 minutes late to work, I already got one strike. So if I'm 3 minutes late today, even though I put in all of my sweat, blood, and tears in this work, in this particular job, if I'm 3 minutes late, they might just cancel me just like that, because I'm just disposable to these people. If you find yourself in that type of position now, and you've been blessed with a gift, and you know that life is giving you all of these signals and signs that it's time for you to take the jump, and things are slowing down in certain areas of your life, and you find you can't save and nothing is working out, that's your sign right there that says, go ahead and do what's necessary to start nurturing that gift. Make the time to nurture the gift, because the gift is going to reward you on the other side if you do the work first. There is a saying that if you put in 10%, you get back, there's a 90% reward that you get. So it's like putting in a 10% first. I don't know how true that is, but I would say you got to at least nurture the seeds that you plant, but you got to first plant the seeds. So do what's necessary. You're going to move towards abundance, okay? And I say this, let me just show y'all the cards that I pulled real quick before I close out, y'all. You have the Fool that came out, taking the leap of faith, okay? to move towards what you've been called to do, and do it fearlessly. Look up, don't look down. You have abundance right behind that. Some of you all are being called to write books, okay? Or whatever the case may be, you might need to read certain books, study up on certain things in order to perfect whatever this is. Then you have understanding. You see that bird is leaving up out of that cage because the bird has an understanding now of what's on the other side and why it's necessary to no longer be in this self-imposed cage, because this bird was there self-imposed because that opening has always been there. But when you are fearful, then you get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have here guidance. This is all about angelic guidance. So your angels are around you and guiding you in this creative work that you have. The number 3 is all about creativity. So you're being guided, okay? Pay attention to the synchronicities. Speak to your spiritual team. Let them know, I thank you all for coming in and removing all blockages and obstacles that have stood in the way of me moving towards my destiny. And you have here breakthrough. So yes, that boxed in perspective that you had, you breaking through from that, okay? Why? Because you also have the rebel. This is all about doing something different. This is about breaking those chains, breaking those generational curses that told you that you have to be enslaved to someone else's establishment, working up under other people and never being able to get ahead in life, but just maintaining, but barely, until you retire, just to get a small check and to be able to say, I never was able to amount to those things that I always thought I could, even though I had this gift, I had these ideas, but I never pursued them because I was too fearful that if I did it, I wouldn't have enough. Be the rebel. Do something different. You have this torch here. This is all about that fire, that flame, that passion, that zeal, that excitement. You have everything that you need. The source is coming from within you. You see this to me reminds me of like a cell, or like the DNA. All of that information is there. Everything that you need in order to bring your gift, which is your genetic signature, only you can present this to the world, no one else. It's already there within you. The source, which is the Most High God who created the creator of all things, has given you the key as the co-creator of your life to give birth to your gift. But you got to slow down and you got to listen. You got to hear. You got to give yourself the opportunity. Take the chance. You got to take the chance, because if you never take the chance, then it's like saying, I'm fearful of not being successful, but you never take the chance to fail. So you never take the chance to be successful and you never take the chance to fail, but you just stay stuck in this fear of not being successful. Where do you win? At least if you was to take the leap of faith and you failed, which I don't see that happening here. Many of you have some beautiful ideas that's going to take you into some abundance, baby. You got abundance right here. Abundance. If you don't take the chance, then you will never know. What you want to do? You want to wait until the next lifetime to have to come back to go through all of these karmic cycles again, to come back into remembrance and say, oh, yeah, there is a gift that I have, so let me finally go ahead and do it. No, do it right here in this lifetime. This is the prime time to be the co-creator and to start visualizing what you want. We are in the age of Aquarius, the time of the reveal. Nothing can be hidden, and that includes those gifts that you have that are naturally within you that the enemy didn't want you to find out about. Because if you find out about them, then though that 1% that's been rich off of your sweat and labor, now they got to fall back, because now you don't need them. You're not codependent on them, and you're no longer feeding the beast through the energy of fear, through the energy of lack mentality, through the energy of, self-loathing or self-sabotage, guilt, shame, bitterness. You ain't feeding the beast from that energy no more, because when you start doing what you was divinely called to do, you wake up every day feeling great about it. You wake up every day knowing that you march at your own beat. That's what you're creating for yourself. Freedom, true sovereignty. And so here you have success here. You got 2 cards to indicate that you're going to move towards success. Abundance and success. Last 2 cards, and actually 3, that says ripeness. So there's a harvest that you will reap on the other side of this, okay? But you have to first plant the seeds, and then you have to nurture those seeds. Plant the seeds. Nurture the gift that you have. Do what's necessary. If you have to study, if you have to put in the practice, of perfecting your craft. But you got to first slow down to get the message, and then start visualizing, planning, and be patient. There's that pregnant woman I was telling you all about, because the gift is growing within you. And once it's ready to be presented to the world, you'll know. You'll know. So it's not something that you can rush, because there's cycles that you have to go through here. There's cycles that have to be played out before the gift is ready to be given birth into the world. So you have to be patient with it, and you have to nurture the gift. But you can't do it from a space of fear. So that's what I have for you all. I love you. I hope that this was motivating and encouraging for you all. And if you want to order my oils, email me. Same email that I use is inside of my description that tells you a little bit about my page, my channel. Okay, that's snita52415 @gmail. So that's where you'll be able to find me if you want to try out my oils. I sell 4-ounce bottles. Okay, whether it's for the hair or for the skin. And that's what the message is about today. So I love you all. If you want a private reading from me, you can also email me at the same email, and I'll be happy to schedule a private reading for you all. So I love you, and I will talk to you all next time.